Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. And ladies and gentlemen, there is reason to panic. There could be chaos, and I say could, and there probably is already. There will be teams who already are saying this round is going to be a howler before it even starts. And it's a pretty tough feeling because early in the week, you always have that feeling of, this could be my week. You know, this could be my week. Hasn't been a great season, but trading, few upgrades of late, this is it. And then the teams come out, you're like, you're bloody kidding me. I didn't expect that. Or are you serious? He's not back yet. And it hurts. Now, I'll delve into the teams in a minute. And I also want to talk about what are your next 6 trades? What are your next 8 trades? Sounds crazy. We normally talk about your next 2. But I think you've got to be forward thinking that much. I stress it a lot. You've got to have a 6 to 8 trade plan, and it is doable. Get the pen and paper out. You can pretty much estimate roughly how players are going to be priced and their movements, and at least have a rough idea, because there's nothing worse than sort of willy-nilly going about it every 1 or 2 weeks, and then it gets to the certain stage and you're like, oh, I'm going to miss out on this bloke, or he's not going to be as cheap as I would have liked, or you can't even, you've only got 2 trades and you want to bring in 2 blokes and make a downgrade, and you miss the boat. So it's crucial to forward think. Now, the damage. Well, I'm just going to go through, sort of game by game here, and there's certainly a few worth talking about, and there are a few players in making their debut that could be pretty helpful. Dane Beams is back. Not sure that'll help too many. Matt Crouch has been named, but gee, he'd have to be pretty doubtful, wouldn't he? I see he's been named on the bench. Can we read much into that? Bryce Gibbs is sitting there in the emergencies. Riley Knight, you'd have to think he's a slim chance. He sounded unlikely, so he's one for myself and many others that could cause some pain. Constable dropped. Gee, they are giving him some tough love. And surprisingly, Tommy Atkins is named after it looked like he would probably miss. Now, I'm a Geelong man, and I thought Constable played a good game. Obviously there's things that the general supporter can't pick up, and there's clearly maybe defensive things or things in his role that he isn't doing, because purely on a numbers point of view, he would keep his spot. Scored something around the 90 mark and had 27 touches. Clearly, he's not in Chris Scott's SuperCoach team. So, a few of you guys would have held on to him, and with a few of these other outs, he could have been really important, but it's not to be. Devon Smith out long term. That hurts. Braden Ham dropped. Could have helped a few. As we move along, Franklin is still not in. We knew that a few days ago. Heaney just has to find some form somehow. Curtis Taylor's been dropped. Willem Drew is still on the extended bench, and his form hasn't been anything to write home about. You'd like to think he could hold on to it, but again, it could be real crucial, given sometimes at this mid-stage of the season, as we work towards that, problems can arise with the job security with some of these young guys. Now, obviously, Jack Ross is out. We knew that. And right down to the bottom, which I really want to talk about and what will hurt a lot, is Stephen Cornelio. Now, that finger seems to have ruled him out, and I thought something was up. As you've heard me chat of late, he is a guy I want to bring into my side. He laid 0 tackles last week. Now, a fit Cornelio does not lay 0 tackles, no matter how poor the Giants go. So I'm not sure how extensive that is. One would think it's a 1 to 2 weeker, but I honestly don't have a stack info on it. Whitfield is back, thank goodness. Liam Stocker named on the extended bench. So we'll have to wait and see if he holds his spot. Jackson Haitley also in, has had a really good couple of scores. Price around the 150 mark, a bit more expensive, and job security would have to be iffy, but maybe takes your fancy. So Look, a few guys can help save us, particularly if you want to make a downgrade, which I do. Oscar Baker, he's a real outside runner, had the lowest contested possession count of any Casey Demon last year, but he's apparently a speedster, can win it on the outside, or at least get it on the outside and use it, really good skills. Robbie Young at St Kilda, apparently a real tackling machine, short fella, tackles hard. Mitchell Hinge at the Lions, bit of a utility, probably more of a defender. Really nice ball user, they tell me. And I think Darcy Fork gets named, so that's interesting. If he holds his spot, could be an O'Brien down to Fort trade at some stage. Could be one that takes the fancy. Laddams, I don't know much about. McLennan at Gold Coast comes in. Ben King. So, look, there's a few guys, and we need these. Riley Collier-Dawkins, big name through the preseason, a big-bodied player. Callum Coleman-Jones, they're rolling the hyphens out, left, right and centre. Obviously, Coleman-Jones seems to have come in for Nankervis. I believe he's a ruckman. So there's options, in amongst the chaos. There are options, and we need these guys who debut around round 6, 7 and 8, because the guys that debuted in round 1, they're starting to taper off or get dropped or have maxed out. So we've got to have options. Now, what are we going to do? Canelo is one of those awkward ones because he hasn't been in stellar form. You hold on to him, he drops in price, then he goes out. Sometimes you just wish that they were playing well, out for 4 weeks, bang, okay, I don't lose too much financially, but there's not much around. I think he's about 500k. Look, I'd assess the how long he's out for, and I'll probably keep him if you can. If it's a 1 to 2 week, just keep him. If it's longer than that, or you're frustrated, then you're probably just going to have to find someone else. Rockcliffe is at 467k. He's averaging 100. He's still going okay. Otherwise, there's going to have to be guys that you look at. Even Matt Crouch, 509. He's had some solid scores and a 54, drops him down. So they're just a couple of guys that I have, so I rate them. I haven't looked extensively at who you could bring in, because I do feel if it's a 1 to 2 weeker, you would keep a player of that quality. But that is up to you. So, look, I talk about the trades, the next 6 to 8, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing. This week, Walsh out, McRae in, and I think it's probably going to be Petruccelli to rookie X. I'll decide. There's a few have come in, and I'll make that call soon. Why Petruccelli? There's guys who are missing or in doubt. 274, he's the highest priced player on my bench. And I know Parker and Atkins are coming off horror scores, but I just think I genuinely will need that extra 20k. It sounds silly, but I think it's going to be pretty tight, and I don't see Petruccelli making too much more coin. So anyway, my trades, McRae in for Walsh, Petruccelli down. And why Walsh? Well, he's got a break even of 100. He's already gone down 13k last week. There's a chance he's getting tired. Just scored a 70. We can't expect him to keep up that amazing scoring rate as a first-year player. I think he'll go pretty well. I think he'll average mid-80s come season's end. Really, really good for a first-year player. But the fact is, it comes down to this. Is Sam Walsh going to be in your final team? No. So what's the best way to utilise him? Trade him out at his maximum price. We can't do that. 13k offered. He peaked at 452. Break even at 97. He missed that with a 70. Break even at 101 this week. I doubt he's going to get it. If he does, great. He's not going anywhere. The fact is, McRae, break even of mid-90s, high 90s. He's a guy who's ripe for the picking. I'm bringing him in. And then I've got the 260 in the bank. So once I do all that, I'll have upward of 300 in the bank. Next week, I'll bring in Sicily for Dersma. And I think I'll go O'Brien down to Fort or someone else. And once that's all done, again, we're roughly speaking, I'm estimating Dersma's priced around 330. I'm estimating Sicily's priced around, where are we at here? priced around 540, 530 because he's got break even at 154. So I'm talking about a 220 upgrade. Gain the 300k for O'Brien. That gives me 80k in the positive. That should bring me up to anywhere between 380 to 400 in the kitty for that following week. So there's 4 trades. Then the week after, I'm thinking Marty Hoare to Jake Lloyd. I'm thinking Hoare will probably appreciate to nearly 400k, and Lloyd will again be around that 530, 540, given the high break even, and Hoare is scoring really well. So what do I need there? Let's call it 380 and 530. Need 150k. That would bring my total down to about 230. Then I'm thinking probably Willem Drew to Travis Boak. Again, Boak's pretty high at the moment, but he also has a break even around 150. I can see him getting anywhere between 520 and 540k, and I can see Drew probably getting up to around 330 or 340, hopefully, which let's call it 200k that I'd need, and I'd probably have about 15 to 20, 25k remaining. And that's why the Petruccelli 20k is important, because when I forecast forward and I'm just, I'm going on the percentages, I'm guessing roughly what they will score and roughly where they'll go down, I think I'll be about 10 to 50k in the ballpark. So that 20 odd k, as opposed to if I traded an Atkins or a Parker, that 20k could prove crucial. The point of that exercise, really think about your trades, because you don't want to be like, yeah, I'll bring him in 3 weeks because he'll be nicely priced, and then go, oh God, I'm 15k short. Why didn't I trade this guy back then when I need that 15k now? Really try and think about it. And I know it takes a little bit of work, but it probably makes decisions easier when you know, well, shit, I'm going to need 20k. So that makes that decision easier. I need to trade out someone who's priced higher. So hopefully that helps, because now's the time to trade hard. Don't mess around. Don't worry about having trades left over at the end of the season. If you trade well and efficiently, you should have 8 to 10 trades left and a near full team. And there's nothing wrong with having 6 to 8 trades left if your team's nearly full, because they are emergency trades. The only issue would be if you get to 8 trades and you still need to make 3 or 4 upgrades, and you're like, crap, I'm probably only going to have 1 or 2 emergency trades. That's where you don't want to get into that sort of issues. So there is some carnage. There is also some options. So work out what is best for your team, and I hope you have a good week. It isn't easy. We've had probably back-to-back weeks where it has been a little iffy. There's been a few curveballs thrown up, but that is all part of it, because, you get that from time to time. SuperCoach throws up some pretty funny things throughout the year. We had a pretty easy run over the first 6 weeks, but these last couple we've certainly been dealt a few blows. So all the best for the weekend. I hope you enjoyed the preview. Obviously, I'll be back on the Monday to wrap things up and discuss how my team went. And a shout out to Jono. Thanks for your support, mate. He's one of my top subscribers and top followers. So I hope you're going well, mate. And obviously, as an extension, thanks to all the subscribers who have not only come on board of late, but have been involved for many, many years. I do look at all the comments, and you certainly know the ones who are actively engaged week to week, and there's a loyal fan base out there, and that's probably what makes you keep doing it, really. So I appreciate your support. So I'll be back soon. All the best. Cheers.